The last thing I wanted to highlight that we haven't talked about, but it's big news, and it's related to NIPSCO, the Integrated Resource Plan. That's a planning process. Is it every 3 years or 4 years? That they go through stakeholder input, looking at the assets that you all have and how to go forward with that, sort of a long range. What's your timeline? Like, is it 20 years? A long time. So is anyone familiar with some big announcements that happened last fall related to NIPSCO? A couple of you have been paying attention, but this most recent IRP, there were some pretty significant differences from previous plans. I don't know if you want to talk for a couple minutes about what that'll look like. If you want to take the mic.
So as Leah mentioned, we go through the Integrated Resource Plan, and we go through this to understand what the potential costs for continuing with generation needs for our consumers would be. And so when we look at things, we look at the environmental costs of making our coal cleaner, putting environmental technology on the units, building new combined cycle units, as well as renewable. As you saw from the curves that Leah mentioned with the price of solar, especially for large systems, as well as wind power coming down in price, things changed radically over the past 3 years. And so now, we have announced that we just finished closing, we had 4 generating stations, like if you go back like 10 years, one closed, the coal plants, I should say. One closed about 10 years ago, which was a small one. It was the oldest one. It needed to come down long ago. And then we had 3 big ones. The biggest, which is Schaefer's generating station in Wheatfield, Indiana. It's about 50% of all the generation that NIPSCO has. We announced that station, which is our newest station, by the way, is closing 2023. And then the last coal station, which is Michigan City, will close in 2028. Some would say, oh, we're just going green, and that's a wonderful thing. But really, when we looked at it, it's also the best financial decision. So when we look at how you're going to replace this with the environmental costs coming in, we would look at wind power and solar power making up the difference. So we're currently buying power from solar and mainly wind, actually, right now, from the market. And then as it gets closer to 2023, the solar plants will come online as well as the wind power plants. Most of them are going to be owned by third parties. We're just going to buy the power from them and make the investment. And some will be either joint venture or we're going to be fully owned by NIPSCO. We are looking at the differences as it gets closer to 2023, though, with an option to build a combined cycle unit. The main reason is, although solar and wind is great, it only is there when it's there. And so not only that, you have ancillary services that the coal units provide. So you have to load follow, throughout the day, but not only on the hour-to-hour basis, but every single second. If the steel mill slams in the hop strip mill, and now all of a sudden 100 megawatts got to be generated, something's got to react from the grid to be able to do that. And so we're looking to see we're looking at what the transmission grid upgrades will have to be to just look at the wind and solar with battery technology coming in to see if they can serve that or if we need to go back to natural gas. So right now the plan is to go mainly with solar and wind and then very little natural gas coming in, but it might change as we get closer to 2023.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty big announcement.
Yeah.